Twice a year, every year, we get to experience Glitch, a major series that takes place in Maryland and attracts some of the biggest and best players in the world to show their stuff at Xanadu Games, one of the oldest and most storied Smash venues in the scene. This year was no different. Despite some late DQs, there is still more than enough talent to make up for an exciting, edge-of-your-seat spectacle as 422 players from across the world fought for the Glitch Trophy. We'll take you through everything that happened this weekend in our recap of Glitch Regen. Surprising nobody, Light delivered a workmanlike performance and took down everyone in his path to win the tournament. Light has cemented himself as the best player in the United States this past year, and he added another trophy to the case this weekend. He only dropped 6 total games in 9 sets, and was only ever in real trouble against Sonics, who had a 2-1 lead against Light before the sleeves went up. Light suffocated Sonics in the final 2 games of the set, nearly getting a 3 stock in Game 4 and getting a 2 stock in Game 5. He also picked up impressive wins over Naito Sharp, Jackal, PK Chris, and especially Kameme, who he beat in Grand Finals. Within a week of noting Japan's dominance of recent international majors and making it his mission to reverse the trend, Light did just that. Kameme had a very impressive run to Grand Finals, using Sora, a character often dismissed in the United States. Kameme slowed games down and used Sora's excellent defensive tools and floaty movement to make approaching him impossible. Just as importantly, he made his openings count, converting on chances that his defense created with clean, flowing combos. It was almost beautiful, watching him dance through the air and tear through the loser's bracket as the speed and flash of Light was destroying those in winner's bracket. Kameme was able to make it into top 12 with no games dropped, securing wins over MPG and Syrup in winner's bracket on his way there. He ran into Sonics in his top 8 qualifier, who was more than happy to let Kameme stand around and play defensively. In a grinder of a set that seemed destined to go to a 5th and final game, Kameme played the rubber match nearly perfectly for approximately 7 minutes, 37 seconds, and 87 hundredths of a second. And then, a just reward for those with long attention spans, one of the most stunning endings of the Smash year so far. It'd be easy to let an ending like that stop all of your bracket momentum in its tracks and bow out at 9th. Kameme, though? He got a Game 5 win against Naito Sharp to put him into top 8, then ended Jake's 9-set losers run with another Game 5 win. From there, he quickly, by his standards, disposed of PK Chris and Zomba to put himself back against the man who knocked him into losers in the first place, Sonics. This time the set clocked in at a breezy 31 minutes. Despite blowing a lead in Game 1 and getting timed out in Game 4, Kameme was able to fight for his friends and shut the door on Sonics 3-2. Kameme couldn't continue the Japanese streak of major victories as both his Sora and his Mega Man were snuffed out by Light in Grands. But he showed a whole country of doubters what Sora can do, and showed he'll be a huge threat in a couple of weeks at the Big House 10, where we'll get a great chance to see how he stacks up against a new set of North American opponents. There were 3 surprises in top 8. PK Chris, Jake, and a surprise player that we'll talk about later. PK Chris is a NES main from New York who has slowly but surely been improving and picking up wins on top players. But this week, he was finally able to put it all together and make top 8 at a major on winner's side. His marquee win this weekend as the 21 seed came over Steve Sensation and PGRU V3 number 19, Yanni. He was one of the beneficiaries of late DQs from Tweak and Cosmos, but his run still included impressive wins over Sweshy, D3 Will, Squid Plumber, and Unleashed. Chris can get forgotten when talking about the best American NES players along with the likes of Send, Atata, and Syrup, but as old gods like Foe and Austin start to focus on endeavors outside of competitive Smash, a young and hungry generation of NES mains have taken the meta by force. For Jake, the surprising part of his top 8 run wasn't his presence in the bracket's final phase. After all, he finished 3rd at the last iteration of Glitch, was seeded 7th, and ranked 44th on the PGRU V3. What was surprising was just how he got there. His weekend started at the Glitch pre-local, the Grind Fridays, where he fell to a pair of upstate New York players DDD main Castelia and Bayonetta main Amaryllis. Jake noticed that he was having controller issues and couldn't get his controller fixed in time for Glitch. Then he put out a tweet saying that he felt as bad as he ever had going into a major and that he was just gonna play it out and see what happened despite his controller issues. And then on Saturday, in his first set of the day, he fell in the biggest upset of the tournament by shield break enthusiast and our MK Leo at home, Justin Byleth. But like any anime protagonist knocked hundreds of feet across the ground, he just wiped the dirt off his shoulder, got back up, and handled his business. He secured wins over Germ, Amaryllis, GEICO, and then Justin Byleth in the run back to make top 32. There, he crushed Pinkfresh, Alternus, Unleashed, and Ken to make it to top 8, after losing the first set he played in the tournament. Thanks to his early trip to losers, Jake played 3 more sets than the tournament champion Light. Watching his run, especially from his first set in top 32, you just understood that nobody on the face of the earth was going to beat him before top 8. He was just not going to let himself lose, and he made one of the most impressive losers runs of the year appear out of thin air just because he refused to go out like that. There were also a couple of noteworthy runs from unheralded out-of-towners who fell just outside of the top 8. Kentucky Kazuya Wilds is just 13 years old, but he didn't let that stop him from beating North Carolina #1 Sen, along with Korean, Gen, and AOS to finish 17th at his second ever major, securing a +4 SPR. Unleashed, the Sora main from New England, was able to get a +3 seed performance rating for his 13th place finish, where he was able to take down Omega, iMotors, and Wilds, giving Sora 2 representatives in top 16 of a major. Because Glitch took place in MDVA, which is famous for having one of the most, divisive character pools in the country, we're happy to show you this chart, made by Twitter user @AngelSeraphy_ that highlights the character usage in top 32 of Glitch. No character claimed more than 2 representatives. Start with Steve, Sonic, Cloud, sure, makes sense. Then Ness, Sephiroth, Sora, kind of odd, but okay. And finally, naturally, the last character with multiple top 32 reps was Little Mac? Yes, here at PGstats, we are happy to report that one of the characters most commonly listed as the game's worst, Little Mac, had 2 representatives in top 32 at a major. Alternus started top 32 in winner's side after securing wins on Jules and C, the Palutena who eliminated Japanese Cloud YOC at 33rd. Despite taking a game with Pit of all characters, he fell to Squid Plumber in winners and then was eliminated at 17th by Jake, treating losers bracket like creative mode. Peanut started top 32 in losers after a loss to Zomba, but he was able to take down Click, Diet Soda, Slashy, and Omega to finish 13th, where he then lost to Syrup. You know, if you subscribe to the channel and like and hit the little bell, you know, all the YouTube things, we just might release a video on the differences between Peanut and Alternus' playstyles, and show how their similarities and differences of players have created one of the most fun, lighthearted, and exciting rivalries in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. They live in the same region, use the same terrible character, the same terrible costume, and both pull off shocking upsets, but play as almost perfect opposites of one another. It's beautiful. Up next, we have our MDVA region spotlight, because despite 15 of the 31 players to appear on the 2 most recent MDVA power rankings not showing up to Glitch, MDVA still had plenty of players show off this weekend. 16-year-old Wi-Fi warrior turned offline powerhouse Enhanced PV finished 17th, and could have gone further if not for a brutal draw that saw him lose to Sonics and Ned after taking out Stretch and everybody's favorite, Quandale Dingle Ingleton. Virginia Wario main Matador clocked in an SPR of +3 and finished 17th after pulling off strong wins against the Turtle King, Beast, ZD, and No Tag. Virginia Ridley main and Samus Annihilator Smub picked up his 5th PGR win this weekend as Ridley in a 3-1 victory over Ling, but he also got good wins on Germ, Beast, and Justin Byleth on his way to 13th and a +3 seed performance rating. Kick it up to an SPR of +5 and you'll find 2 players that play often forgotten about high tiers, Goofy Goober and Slashy piloting Greninja and Mii Brawler respectively. Slashy took down Emba and Gen to finish 17th, falling to Sonics and Peanut on day 2. The Gen win in particular was impressive, as Slashy has said multiple times he feels that the matchup is heavily in Palutena's favor. Gen was Area 51 on the first ever PGRU, but the unranked DC Mii Brawler excuse us, Business Suit Sans Undertale, handled his business to secure his best ever finish at a major. Goofy Goober has been on fire recently. Once a farmer of the small Southern Maryland local Mega Drive and clipper of our director Jackie Peanuts, Goofy has gone on to finish 9th at Super Regional Cost 2022 in June and ranked 10th on his first ever MDVA PR. This weekend he added wins over Sandstorm, Regalo, Ling, and Matador to finish 13th. His movement with Greninja is so crisp, and his strong kill confirms and microspacing can make even the biggest Greninja doubter think that the Ninja Frog still has some life in him. That leaves us with one more story to tell you. The mystery mouse Gatool we held onto for the end of the video. This is the legend of Squid Plumber. Our MDVA-based writers want you to know that it's almost impossible to write this section without bias, because everyone in MDVA that has ever interacted with Squid Plumber has really only nice things to say about him, despite the fact that he's F-smashed most of the scene at truly heinous percents. He's 18 years old, just started college in Virginia after growing up in Maryland, went to his Halloween local and played in an inflatable Among Us costume, and borrowed legendary Xanadu T.O. Rafflefox's fursuit on Friday to take pictures in at the grind. Trash Day, the writer of this script, went to his first ever local about 15 months ago, and Squid Plumber was happy to sit down and play friendlies with him. Someone who obviously didn't know anyone in the venue and was nervously walking around trying to figure out how to ask for games. And now, in that same venue, we all got to watch Squid Plumber finally make top 8 at a major tournament. And also watch Trash Day slide into the ground like a Major League Baseball player. Squid Plumber's run meant so much to the people of Maryland because everyone that knows him knows that he deserves it. He just piled up win after win after win before people started to ask themselves, well, could he make top 16? Could he make top 12? Wait, is he actually going to make top 8? It started on Saturday, where sporting the sponsor tag Nick's Friend in honor of best friend Wii Fit trainer main and commentator Nick District 14, he was able to upset New Jersey number 6, Stefan. That's the Steve main who's taken sets off Tweak, Jackal, Syrup, and Rivers. And he made it out of his pool on winner's side. That put him up against YOC, who was flown out from Japan to be the tournament's 13 overall seed. Squid Plumber, the 77th seed, won in a decisive 2-0. Sitting one set away from winner's side top 32, he made it there when he beat Georgia Link main Zahir 2-1. On day 2, he beat Alternus, the 7th best player on the last MDVA PR, to set up a match against PK Chris for top 8 winner's side. He lost that set 3-1 as he was simply unable to do any meaningful damage against Chris, who bobbed and weaved like Ali in his prime. Still though, he only had to win one more set to make top 8. Who was he lined up to play against, you may ask? Only Ned, the best player in Illinois and the 29th best player in North America during the hottest stretch of his career, where he's gotten multiple major top 8s and a 9th place finish at Super Smash Con, a tournament with 2,388 entrants. Oh, and Ned had played 7 sets so far at Glitch and won every single game he played that wasn't against Zomba. And he'd come directly off of 3-0 wins against Enhanced PV and Goofy Goober, players that Squid Plumber had a combined record of 3-14 against. Players and spectators alike from MDVA went to the side stream to watch their friend and the longest surviving MDVA player in the tournament get washed by Ned, just like they had in the 2 sets before. And they were all gonna go give him a hug and tell him how proud they all were of him for making it as far as he did. And then he won game 1, and then he won game 2. But from here, Ned switched to Pokemon Trainer and nearly 3-stocked him without switching off of Squirtle one time, and all seemed to be going back to normal. But then in Game 4, an errant Flare Blitz off the side of the screen was all the momentum that Squid Plumber needed to mount a comeback. And after a fake kill screen and then good old Holy Water into F-Tilt, the set was over. Squid Plumber was going to top 8. The crowd rushed the stage, and all you could hear in there were dozens of yells, all shocked by what they had just witnessed. And as Squid Plumber fist-bumped Ned and let the emotions of the moment run over him, MDVA had a story that they would be able to tell for as long as anyone cares about Smash Bros. Ultimate. Squid would lose 3-0 in his next set against Jackal, and he had to miss his usual Sunday night weekly that he had signed up for because, you know, he was in top 8 of a major. But none of that mattered. He, as the 77th seed, became the lowest seed to get top 8 at an American major since Wizrobe did it at Smash and Splash 5 as the 97th seed. Oh, and for those of you who are already heading to the comment section to complain and call this a national or a Mickey Mouse major because MK Leo wasn't there, shut it, Poindexter! Let them have their fun for a second! It's Squid Plumber time, baby! Woo! And while you're down there writing that kind comment, hit that subscribe button to stick with us as we take you through the rest of a packed Smash Autumn, starting with the key stop of the Panda Cup at next week's Lost Tech City. I've been Kameme, and from all of us here at PGstats, we genuinely thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.